What did you get out on recording time?
For 5 months. You know.
5:25. Are you serious?
Yes.
All right, guys, we're gonna have the world's best, fastest machine on the track, Pro R, with the worst driver, me, yours truly. And we're gonna have like 4 machines take off, give them a nice big gap, see if we can pass any of them. There's a lot of good passing lanes on this track. It's kind of why we built it the way we built it, so more passing can happen. My money's on the Pro R. I think Mack's stupid. The thing's the best. Subscribe if you haven't. We really appreciate it. All right, we are gonna get them all lined up. We got a couple YXZs, a 17 Can-Am, a 20 Can-Am, and then I'm gonna see if I can catch them after they go. So here they go. Rip it!
You're tossing the Pro R around harder than you ever have before.
Roughly
about a month and a half, and so you got on the track and you're like, hey, you know, let's get the Turbo S out here. I kind of miss driving that thing on the track, and let's see what it does when I throw down with the Turbo S. How did that go?
Not as good as when I first bought this, I thought it was only a smidge better than that Turbo S with the dynamics. I thought it was only a smidge better, really. I was kind of honestly a little disappointed out of the gate with the Pro R, just a little bit. But now that I've actually put quite a bit of time and miles on it, really shocked on how much better this really is than that Turbo S now. Like, I was shocked. Going back was the better realization than going from the Turbo S to this. Going back to that Turbo S to see what it was like was a very big shocker on as far as like your power and all that, and just the way it drove and the different settings that I have with this now that I've gotten more comfortable with all the settings and kind of know how it handles. But a big thing was really just that power. I was like, oh wow, this feels honestly kind of gutless now compared to this Pro R as far as that feel. So
and your current track time is what?
So we just threw down a track time. The Lit Pro's on the fritz right now. I don't know if it's gonna pull up the time, but we had a couple people timing me, and I'm a 5:25 right now.
So from 5:30?
I would know, it's 5:38.
Okay, so you're down about 13 seconds or so. That's pretty good on the track. So tell us a little bit about the track conditions and what you're trying to do here now.
So as far as track conditions, it is extremely rough now. There's a lot of spots that are really starting to kick you, especially at this really fast pace that I'm doing now. I'm starting to get more kicks here and there that I didn't get before. So she's definitely needing a little bit of maintenance. Also, the ruts have gotten really deep. I already knew that, and I was fine with that because the ruts kind of keep you in there. But yeah,
and
it's
now
different.
Now you've narrowed it down to what modes are best on the track. So what modes are best in the Pro R? What modes are best in the track?
So the best mode on the track for me has been track mode. So I'm running it on race with the power setting, and then just so I have the most amount of power I can get, full lock on the wheels, and then I'm running track. That's giving me my best times. I'm usually I would say 3 to 5 seconds slower on Baja mode on the track.
Okay.
Now, I do not enjoy the ruts in Baja mode, I've noticed, because when you're braking hard and slamming into a corner and trying to turn, I've noticed the back end, it just seems to want to kick up a little bit, it really loosens that back wheel, which can make you kind of go out of your rut. So I feel like I have to take the corners just a smidge softer, so I'm not blowing it out of that corner and coming out of the rut. So I do like track mode when it comes to ruts. But one thing I did notice, like when I was just out in the desert, riding in the desert, for you that don't all have a track, for desert riding out here in the West, I do like Baja mode and comfort mode a lot better. I don't like track mode out there. At first I thought I did, and now like I've done some testing right out of the gate, riding the Pro R versus the Turbo S, and then different modes. And then now I've put a lot more seat time into this, seeing what I feel is better. I feel like in comfort mode and in Baja mode, it stays a lot like more planted to the ground and stays like in kind of a little bit just planted to the ground, I guess. In track mode, you know how it has that setup, it kind of just keeps you a lot more level, but it keeps you a little firmer, which I do like as far as on the track, because I'm, you know, bottoming out in a couple places, so I want it as firm as possible. But you get a little bit more of that kind of feeling like you're on ice skates in track mode out in the desert. Comfort and Baja is much better in the desert as far as taking the corners and having a good time. Just when you get in those deep ruts, I really think track mode is much better.
A game changer.
Huge. This is big difference.
Yeah, and I've noticed, and that was one of the questions I was gonna ask you, is on your typical riding, when you get out there and you're out there in the middle of the desert, what's the best mode? So Baja mode is the best mode when you're doing Havasu trails, rocky to wash to all of that.
Baja and comfort, it just really seems really planted, even in comfort. The only issue you're gonna have running comfort, I've noticed, is you're gonna bottom out a little bit harder. So if you're running really, really hard out there and you're willing to just fly down those roads and not care if someone's coming over the side of a hill or this or that, or a corner, then Baja will be much better. But if you're riding just at a decent pace, I think you actually will like comfort. Comfort, I still feels a little bit, it's still really, really good out there, I do think. And then, I mean, the good thing about these electronic suspensions over just your basic suspension that could be an amazing suspension but not have different modes, on the fly, I mean, out here, you know, all of a sudden you run into a rocky area, just put it in low and put it in rock mode and good to go. So, because it does amazing in low and in rock mode. So put that setting in, I mean, 10 seconds you're, you know, doing that.
You ordered this car with a bunch of different accessories, and basically none of them have come in but
my spare tire. I've had to take it pretty dang easy. It's been pretty scary. Like, we went to Sand Hollow. It's just nerve-wracking knowing that no one else is just gonna have a spare sitting on their machine if I were to have an issue. I finally got a spare for this thing. Technically my spare didn't even come in. I just got lucky that someone had pre-ordered a long time ago some wheels for theirs, and so I was able to snag their spare tire. I mean,
one of their stock
wheels. Because I like to keep it as stock as possible, just to keep it as simple as possible, to not change things. I mean, I do want to do some other stuff to it too, but just out of the gate.
Anything that you ordered on the car that you regret?
This. I don't fully regret it, but I did buy, so I bought the bumper kit. So I bought the whole bumper kit that goes all the way around. I bought the front, the back, and then I bought the tree kickers just to protect it a little bit. The front of the car, I got this bumper. It is a cooler bumper. I do like it better. But since I'm not putting a winch on here, the original bumper I think would have been just as fine. Other than now I get this, and I mean, I've only got 1 day on it and it's already scratched up. So it's probably a good thing I do have this now, but just to protect the car better. But I'm not like, oh my gosh, you gotta have this bumper. But because it already had a nice little bar in front, you know, but this is gonna be protecting it a lot better. All the other stuff hasn't came. This is the only thing that's came, this and my tire.
Nice. And what upgrades are you doing in the future?
We're just kind of going to see what shows up. I mean, I've seen what Aftermarket Assassins, the sound of their exhaust, and that just sounds amazing. So, and I'm sure with a little bit of juice that you're going to get out of that, that sounds really, high chance I'll probably get at least that. And then we'll just kind of see what comes out and what's actually available. I know LaRue's working on the turbo kits and stuff like that. Kind of just want to see what actually really comes out before I really make like a full-on, hey, I gotta go get that and have that. stoked, guys. Way excited that the Pro R is actually not just 3 seconds faster. Now that I've had a lot of seat time in this, I've had for almost 2 months, the Pro R, was able to really step up that time from a big 5:38 to a 5:25. So really, really excited. Excited to put this on the board and really show that the Pro R is as legit as they're saying it is. I love that machine. Just like Chad said, there's probably going to be some hearts over the Pro R now over my Turbo S. Turbo S was a great machine too, so not knocking it, because I mean it's number 2 on the leaderboard. But thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing it with other people. You guys are awesome.